last hour calls, and then we will get to talk about CDSL and BSE. Ashwini and Mitesh joining us. Ashwini, your thoughts on index and your stock calls?
See, something very interesting is happening on the Bank Nifty. It started a correction from 25,200 and now it's holding the monthly pivot. Till now, for the last many months, it never held to its monthly pivot. That basically indicates that it is beginning to have trending characteristics, and obviously the trend is on the upside. So Bank Nifty, you should go long, and since it's the monthly pivot, you could expect a 500 to 800 point style move. Whatever happens in the court, I don't think that's going to get sorted out very soon, because I hear all kinds of people have reached there to get their moratorium. But Bank Nifty definitely looks like it's going up. On the market Nifty, I said even on Monday that bears have one day for themselves, and post that the bears they get killed and bulls come in. RIL is a buy with a stop of 21.10 and look for targets of 21.75. Z has crossed its 200 DMA, so this is a buy with a stop of 209, target of 225. And Escorts is a buy with a stop of 1160, target of 1220.
Yeah, those last two stocks, specifically Z, has been an absolute stunner on the Nifty today. What a move on the stock. And Escorts as well. I mean, the whole rural play is working extremely well in this market. Let's bring in Mitesh. Mitesh, good afternoon. What do you make of things? Would you take a bet on either of the indices now, Nifty or Bank Nifty, and then, of course, stock calls?
Good afternoon. So I think, I have been waiting for the Nifty to get past 11,550. I think that might happen just now. What we've done in the meanwhile is that we've cut our stock basis short exposure and added more on the long side. So a couple of stocks which are showing good traction, I think, we'll possibly see strong follow through once 11,550, 560 is captured and the Nifty getting more stable. But I think Ashwini was making a very valid point about the Bank Nifty. That is one index, for the last 3 days, if you observe the lows, I have the numbers of 23,400, 23,470 and 23,480. So I think very clearly this 23,400 is acting as a very good pivot, and it's in a very strong outperformance mode, which means that the financials could come back into fashion and lead the markets again. So once it crosses 24,000, maybe there will be more stability and more momentum on the Bank Nifty as well. The stocks that I have on my list right now, I have a buy on Biocon with a stop at 405 for targets of 430, and Bata is a buy with a stop at 1315 for targets of 1380.
Okay, by the way, just look at Jubilant FoodWorks, and that's the kind of mood the market is in. Now, this was a washout quarter expected. The market's latching on to the commentary. It's, of course, always been a very expensive stock. But just look at that stock now. It's 2213. It was just one and a half months back at 1600. It's been a phenomenal run, perhaps now way overstretched, but that's the mood of the market. Let's do one thing before we go invite our fundamental guests. Let's look at two buzzing stocks in our segment, What's Buzzing? And this really has been the space to watch today. CDSL and BSE, both spiking in trade. Nimesh will tell us why. Nimesh?
Yes, Anuj. So CDSL is up 15% today, but if you look at Y2D, year to date, the stock is up 110%. Now, the street is expecting that the depositories like CDSL and NSDL will largely benefit from the new margin norms, as well as with the new norms for the pledging and unpledging of shares, and they could be the big beneficiaries. In fact, I was looking at a research report from a domestic brokerage house which suggests that the revenues of depositories can actually double from the current run rate in the next few years from now. In fact, if you look at as of FY20, both NSDL and CDSL have reported a 15% CAGR in terms of revenue growth over the last, say, 4 or 5 years. So that portion of the depository business is what people are latching into and expecting to be a fast mover, and that's why the stock is buzzing in trade today. Also remember, CAMS, which is one of the IPOs which is likely to come this month, is backed by big investors like National Stock Exchange and Warburg Pincus. They are looking at the IPO, so that again can have a bit of a rubber effect in that entire depository space. So that's the reason why CDL is buzzing in trade. The reason why BSE is buzzing is a rub-off effect of CDSL, because BSE owns 20% of CDSL at current, after today's rally, at current price, the value of BSE stake in CDSL is close to 1,000 crore rupees. Remember, the BSE market cap is just 2,400 crores. So, that explains the kind of move you've seen in BSE as well. But do remember, in BSE, what I understand from dealers, there is a large block anticipated from a large global exchange who's looking to sell BSE shares. So that could be a bit of a near-term overhang. But basically, CDSL is buzzing on back of depositories gaining income and BSE gaining because of they owning 20% of CDSL.
Okay, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. So that's important factors. SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com and Prakash Diwan joining us. Good afternoon. Mr. Tulsian, any thoughts on either of the two stocks, CDSL or BSE?
I have not yet actually factored in the expected earning growth to be seen in case of CDSL. Definitely the pledge and repledge, the mechanism will be seen working in favor of the depositories. But it is difficult to take a call, and I don't understand that why the income will be jumping so much in case of because earlier you have been transferring it as a to the collateral account of the broker, and there also they were earning. So I have not taken a call on that, number one. Number two, coming specifically on BSE, definitely the exuberance is seen into the share price, because on one hand, if you have your investment is rising, because as such your investments always get a whole discount to the market value. On the other hand, it is definitely certain that the exchange's volume will fall of NSE, BSE both, and the main bread and butter for the exchanges are the volume income, like transaction charges and all that. And we have already seen that low volume in this last couple of days, since yesterday the new margin mechanism has started. So as I have said, difficult to take a call on the CDSL of earning growth. And I don't think that this kind of exuberance is justified of 14-15% rise. But definitely on BSE, I will not accept the logic of 20% holding giving this kind of jump. And as Nimish has said, that there has been overhang of the selling to be seen by a foreign investor. In case of BSE, that will definitely also be seen negative. So keeping cautious stance on BSE and neutral stance on CDSL, because I have not yet verified the earning estimates to be seen in the income of the CDSL.
Okay, all right. Those are two stocks that are buzzing around today and definitely in focus. By the way, take a look at some very interesting moves in the market. The bank nifty is again getting a little wobbly. It's given up some gain. But auto stocks, how they are moving now. Tata Motors should come up about 2% higher over there. And M&M has seen a big sharp move up, 5% on Mahindra and Mahindra. The two-wheeler makers were slightly weak today, but even they're trying to cut their losses. So if you're looking at Bajaj Auto or if you're looking at even a Hero Moto, then those stocks are off the lowest levels of the day. Prakash Diwan is also with us. Prakash, now what to do over here? I mean, look at Escorts and what that is doing. Look at the excitement around Mahindra and Mahindra. So do you keep playing just the tractor play despite the run-up in the stocks? Or should you look beyond in auto?
So, Surabhi, there was, I think it was about a month back that I was talking about M&M as one of the underdogs in the auto pack because at that point in time we'd seen Maruti race ahead, we'd seen Hero Moto start its journey and then play catch up with this two-wheeler theme, personal mobility, blah blah blah. But the essence of Mahindra's portfolio, M&M's portfolio is SUVs, utility vehicles, which is what I had said is something which is very well matched to the kind of upswing that we are seeing in consumption or in terms of purchases by people in the rural or semi-urban markets. Now that's something which is here to stay. Only if we have a little bit of a slowdown in the economic pickup in these markets, and that could happen if the virus impact starts percolating to tier 2, tier 3 and beyond, then you might have a slowdown. But I will not be surprised if M&M actually clocks better numbers in their portfolio. Maruti is the one that you need to now probably book profits out of. I've been saying this for a while now. It surprised me as well, the kind of move we saw, because all the pent up demand has been bought into. And they are facing stiff competition in all their categories, whether it's entry-level categories where Hyundai is active, whether it's the Kia Motor launches on the SUV side, or the new urban cruiser from Toyota, which is going to fight with Brezza. So all in all, it's going to be a very difficult phase for all automakers. Two-wheelers might also see a little bit of a distinct turnaround. I would believe M&M is the only one that will stand out, and I am not surprised that it has actually played catch-up not just with tractors, but with its PV segment as well. And that could continue for at least the next 1 quarter for sure. So till festival time, I think that remains the top pick. And of course, good upsides already been priced in. but there could be still another 10-15% to go for M&M by the time we are into the festival season.
Okay, just pull out the intraday chart of REC Limited. That's a stock which is now having a breakout and a serious breakout. Just look at that chart intraday. That stock moving up, just about moving in the green. Now, when it moves big. Mr. Tulsian, any thoughts on REC? In the past, you've liked the stock. All these power reforms and all, that could be one area to focus on, is what we've been told. But REC at current price, is it a good bet?
Anuj, in fact, we have been preferring PFC because PFC having bought the stake of REC, that gets captured in the financials of the PFC also. And you are right that looking to the uncertainties with the Discom exposure and all those things, but the power sector is seen to be returning back on the track. And I think that no more asset delinquencies is seen in that. And that's what has been reflected in their financials also, the latest financials of both the companies. So I would still be preferring PFC over REC. Definitely we have this thing, but this is only for the passive kind of investor, those who can take a little longer call of maybe a couple of years on the stock. And in that scenario, we prefer PFC over REC because that is seen quite cheap as compared to REC on the fundamental basis, and more especially because the stake of REC is held by PFC as a promoter.
Okay, so that's the call on PFC. REC, a lot of talk, of course, about perhaps more reforms for Discoms, depending on how they perform with respect to payment of the dues that they owe to generating companies. We will take a break on that note. Come back on the other side. We continue our conversation with both Mr. Tulsian and Prakash Diwan. And also, just a reminder that Viraj Mehta is our alpha manager of the day. We will get our conversation going with him as well.